So today, I would like to welcome you all. And first, we have to present our great friends, Dr. Ariel Casillas, Dr. Bling. Give a great applause. He was the one that gave us this beautiful place, and I'm going to go ahead and let him know and talk about it. Okay, Doctor, go ahead.
Thank you, everyone, for making this evening so special. I'm so eager to hear from every single one of you. Welcome to our office. Just so you know a little bit about Dr. Bling, so here in Orlando, I do primary care. So I do family medicine, so from pediatrics to adults. I also do veterans, so when my veterans are going to the service, I do their pre-deployment exams. If they get hurt in the service, I do the post-disability exams. So I do a lot with our veterans here in Central Florida. I also do aesthetic medicine, so I make everyone more beautiful, from weight loss to regenerative medicine to Botox to facelifts to peptides to women vaginal rejuvenation, male enhancement programs. We do a lot here at Bling Aesthetics. I'm eager and happy to have you guys here. Welcome. After we're done with the introductions and meetings, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out either to myself or my team. Here to my right, I have Javier Hernandez, who is our CEO for Bling Aesthetics. We have Glory in purple, who is our nurse who runs our front desk and operations. And then to our left, we have Santiago, who does our social media content and networking. So once again, thank you all. Thank you to the Puerto Rican Chamber of Central Florida for allowing us to share our space with you guys, and looking forward to meeting every single one of you guys. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. First, like I said, my name is Ricardo, President of the Puerto Rican Chamber of Commerce. But I would like to introduce my team, which is one of the most important part of us, right? So here we have media, our treasurer. We have our VP, Dr. Melanie Melendez. We also have our secretary, Viviana Munoz. And here our trustees director, Mari. Am I missing someone here? Let's see the team. Oh,
like Nona.
We got the vice president for like Nona. I forgot how I got married too, right? There you go. Awesome. So people, let's start right away. I know that there's a lot of going on, but first I want to start with our friend George. But before I bring him, I'm just going to make a general question, and then I'll be asking whom for very good questions. Not to get you scared, just to have. Feel free to to talk about it, your platforms and everything. But it'll be just four simple questions, okay? So basically, I just want to let you guys express yourself, how you feel, and what's your vision, okay? So first, I would like to introduce Mr. George Haas. First, I'm gonna let him know, George Haas, running for Commissioner District 8, correct?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Great job. We also have David Shepherd. He's running for School Board District 1. David, right there. We have our friend Johanna Lopez, who is running for Commissioner District 4. We also have Cristina Arguelles for Circuit Judge, correct?
Yes.
And we also have Cristina Perry, also running for Circuit Judge, right? But George, come on in. Let's see, and let's go for it. Take the stand, and I'm just going to make a quick question, but feel free to express, okay? First, just introduce yourself and describe your experience that qualifies you, for the office, and explain the central purpose of your campaign, and if elected, what are the three most important actions that you will pursue to improve, the opportunities for entrepreneurs, small businesses, and working families?
Thank you very much, everyone, for having me. Thank you for hosting this event. My name is George Haas, and like I said, I'm running for Commission of District 8. 45-year-old engineer, father and husband, running for the commission. It's kind of, I don't even know what I already said or not. But the three things that my platform runs on, I got plenty of these, so please come and see me. It's traffic. District 8 is the southern part, from I-4 all the way to Econ River. We have definitely inherited a lot of bad traffic. So as an engineer, I'm very well qualified to understand how it works and what needs to be done to unclog that. Next thing is tax waste that really does bother me. Currently, and I'm not trying to knock people down, but currently in our Board of Commission, nobody has business experience, and we have great humanitarians in there, and they do their job very well. Unfortunately, I do believe that we need to have more people with a business background to be able to sit on the board to make sure that the county budget is not treated like an endless ATM and just taxing the people. You can see that the taxes are going up, unfortunately, especially in the district where I'm running for. The taxes keep going up, but the services are not keeping up with that, and that's not fair. And the last part, innovation, I do believe that we can do, well, mainly. The tax savings do not come from mandates and do not come from fluffy words, they come from efficiency. If we improve the efficiency, if we train our people better, give them better tools, they're gonna be able to do the job faster, better, stronger. Therefore, I'm very much for innovation and making sure that we are employing the technologies that are available to us. Also in a government sector, to make sure that we are really going with the times.
Super. And one thing very important, District 8, it's a new district, correct?
Correct.
And you'll be like the first commissioner running under the Orange County newly expanded district structure.
Correct.
So it's something that we have to acknowledge. Okay, so it's so important. But I would like to also give you go ahead. You say something?
No, I was about to ask you if you can repeat the end of your question, because there was like 4 different things that were very important.
You got it.
There was family.
It was how will you pursue to improve opportunities for entrepreneurs, small businesses, and working families?
So, District 8 in particular is very affluent. It's highly educated, highly paid, very new, upcoming area, great schools. The services do not match up that. It's a very vibrant community. Speaking of that, 50% Hispanic, so no longer minority, right? Majority. The representation in the Board of Commissioners needs to reflect the energy that the district has. We need somebody that can represent that. Father of 2, we were just talking with Ms. Perry here about entrepreneurship. I'm trying to promote even to my own kids entrepreneurship. And my daughter, on the backside of my flyers, you're gonna see she has a mobile petting zoo that we load up our goats and take them to birthday parties. Of course, it's a work for all day for daddy, but she gets to do something. She needs to negotiate the deal. She needs to be able to talk to adults. She needs to be able to do that. My son currently is trying to walk the dogs for our neighbors, because again, he needs to come, he needs to talk to adults, he needs to be able to do all of these things. You cannot have a big business without starting small.
Correct.
Right? Also, let's not be afraid of big businesses, because if big business is gonna come in, it's just gonna feed the small businesses. If there is a new business created in the area that employs a lot of people that are getting well paid, now there's gonna be more jobs for the plumber, for the handyman, for the restaurants, because they will have all of this. It's very important to remove the red tape of starting new businesses. It's not easy. Doctor is here nodding his head. Everybody seems to be having hands in your pocket before you even start doing anything. Million of all kinds of certificates that you need to achieve just to start your own business. It definitely needs to be done safely, but we definitely can streamline this and remove all the ways that doesn't have to be there. So from that perspective, in terms of family, my kids are 10 and 12. I'm gonna say it like this: we are the part of the vibrant community, right? If you think of it, young families are the economic engine of us. We cannot disregard the retired, and we need to definitely create a thriving place. And that's what the GOAT stands for: get our area thriving. We have great people. We are, as Orange County, very successful county. If you compare it nationwide, we have so much going on for ourselves. We cannot stop, we cannot slow down in terms of development. We need to be able to keep up with it. Otherwise, we're gonna push ourselves out of our own place. So, from that perspective.
I think you answered our second question. Basically, I was going to ask you, what was your plan to attract responsible investment and create quality jobs while ensuring that the existing local and minority-owned business are not displaced or excluded from new economic opportunities. So basically, you just kind of
I am very much pro-business, pro-development. It needs to be done responsibly, right? We can see that the urban planning of the past failed us because we have the traffic, we have the infrastructure is not where it needs to be. We need to focus on getting things done better. We need to plan 50 years ahead. We need to be already looking into purchasing the land that in the future will be the roads. We cannot put a neighborhood in, for example, like Avalon Park, and then try to figure out a way how to get the 408 around it. All that had to be done is allocate a 100-yard corridor, and then the road could have been taken care of, internet could have been brought in. Now we can talk about all the amenities that come with a modern lifestyle that would be done. Being an engineer, coming into this political arena from a completely different place, it's very hard for me a lot of times driving, and I was like, I can see the solution. Why did somebody not already taking care of that? That's why I'm running. Thank you very much. Any other?
Basically, I just one more question, but I think you kind of answered two.
Yes.
And it's the one says, how would you improve the county's zoning, permitting, and development review processes while still protecting neighborhoods, infrastructure, capacity, and the public interest?
That is a very, very good question, and finally a good question because I've been to so many forums where they were asking me about things of a different matter. No, this is a very, very important question. You cannot stop progress. There is no way we can stop progress. We cannot be sticking our head in the sand and pretending like it's not happening. The future is coming, and the only thing we can do is live with it responsibly. We cannot be hiding from it. We cannot be denying it. We cannot be stopping it. And that goes with the reason why people are talking unaffordable housing. It's a supply and a demand. That if you squeeze the supply, the prices are gonna go up. We are a successful county. Everybody wants to be part of this success. You have UCF students graduating every year, many of them staying in the area. We are attracting young talent, we're attracting old talent into the area that come and wants to be part of the success here because we are successful. So many, it's not only the travel. We have Lockheed Martin, L3 Harris, big engineering company, Siemens, Mitsubishi, right? We have a lot of great industry in here, and it is very important to understand that we are successful and it's going to come to us. In regards to attracting new business, again, I'm very much pro small business to make sure you cannot have a big business without starting small. The big businesses, attracting them, we have, for example, Visit Orlando is plugged into the communities all around the U.S. and even abroad. That is making marketing for Orlando area, and therefore we need to partner up with them and show the pool of talent that we have and all that we can offer and try to attract more business. For example, manufacturing, although we have a lot of all kinds of businesses, manufacturing is on the smaller side, to create that pool, because there is so many people with the talent that would be perfect for that, but they have no realization. And that's when these people are trying to leave. So having a diverse place, and let's face it, my kids are 10 and 12. By the time they're gonna be 20, I wanna make sure that they can get great education, they're gonna be able to get great jobs, and be able to afford houses from this. Currently, as I mentioned, I work in an engineering company by UCF called Siemens Energy. We make the light bulb shine, that's our job. And I'm currently teaching a lot of young engineers as they come straight out of school, how to integrate into our company, how our business works and so forth. We have these bright young people that are making good money straight out of college, but they still cannot afford to buy a house unless they have two incomes. That shouldn't be that way, right? We need to create a place where everybody is able to find their home and be able to thrive in it. And again, get our area thriving, the GOAT. Thank you very much. Was that the last one?
Yeah.
I thank you very much all for your attention. I appreciate it. Please spread the word. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you. A little bit of applause, please. Introduce, I believe we have Nancy Kennedy. Did I say it correct?
Kathy.
Kathy?
Yes.
How are you?
Great, how are you?
And we also have Osima Elsam. Hello. We also have Roberta Watson. How you doing? And Tamika Hanson. There you go. And Melissa Lopez. There you go. All right, awesome. Thank you so much for coming in. So we're gonna keep moving in. Oh, we also have Rick Sid. How are you? Good to see you. Okay, our next candidate is someone that I'm looking right now. This is Johanna Lopez. Come on in. Oh my God. Big applause, big applause. And like I said before, the main question.
Oh my God, yes. Go ahead.
No, it'll be just basically just introduce yourself, like always, and describe the experience that qualified you, for this amazing opportunity that you are running for.
Okay, so buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
So I'm an Afro-Latina, but I born in Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. I came from Puerto Rico in 1998. Even though I have a master's degree, I started working at the airport, then in a fast food restaurant. Because of my fears of the language barrier that I had at that moment, but in reality, it gave me the opportunity to meet more people here in Central Florida. So the experience that I had with immigrants at the airport, that I felt very related, because we had the same struggle. It was the language, but I was just interacting with a lot of lawyers, doctors, people in so many fields. Then in the fast food restaurant, I started meeting people from the African American community, Mexican American, Anglo, so for me, it was the different experience that I really embraced till this moment. Then came to Colonial High School in 1998. I was a substitute then in 1999, became a full-time teacher, but in 2017, I became the first Latina teacher of the year for Orange County Public Schools. And then after that, my students start calling me, you have to run for school board, you have to run for school board. And after 150 years in having a school board for Orange County Public Schools, thanks for my students that won my campaign, I became the first Latina in Orange County Public School in 2018. So after that, when it was maybe after the pandemic, that we were fighting against all of this situation that we were living at that moment with masks and no masks and all of that situation, my district, we're having a lot of problems. Specifically, District 2, we're having a lot of suicidal situations. So I felt very, concerned, because I did not see any piece of law at the state level that supported us to support the school system on those matters. So one of my students called me and said, you should run for state rep. But everybody told me, you shouldn't. You're not going to do anything. You're a Democrat. Over there, you're going to be part of the minority. You're not going to pass any bill. But when I went to Tallahassee, I experienced another situation, and I was effective in Tallahassee. I know how to wear across the aisle. When I win in a seat, I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. I'm going to work with you because I am here to represent you. And I passed 8 pieces of law in Tallahassee, most of them with Republicans, others with Democrats. But, it was in the business side, also with working families, even with immigrants. In one of the worst moments in Florida, that we have our immigrants being persecuted and harassed by the current government. So I think that because of that experience and see the opportunity to run for District 4 as a commissioner, that my friend Maribel Cordero is going to be already done with that seat. I think this is the best time to run. I don't like to run against incumbents if they're doing the job. So when I see the opportunity, I say, what, it's time for me to come in back and try to be successful and work on the same areas. I strongly believe that my district is behind. And we are right now in District 43, and we are stuck on time. I think that is not fair what we're living right now in Orange County. And I think that I answered the question. And I have to be kind of fast.
No worries. It'll be only 20 more questions. I'm just kidding. A few more questions quick, so that I know that you guys are very busy. But hey, Joanna, District 4 continues to experience significant residential and commercial growth. If elected, how would you balance that growth with the need for transportation, infrastructure, attainable housing, and a business-friendly permitting process?
Definitely. When I talk to consultants in the business side and with business owners, something that they always say is Orange County is not friendly with business. And it's extremely sad. I think that we need to improve our bureaucracy as a commissioner and in Orange County so we can expedite permits in so many ways. Expedite permits are going to help us not only with local businesses like this, but also with attainable housing. People say, no, we cannot do affordable. Yeah, but we're waiting. Our contractor and developers are waiting almost 4 years to build something. And every single time they ask for a permit, they go back and start all over because something is missing. They cannot continue with the rest of the permits. And I think that we need, number one, to be respectful to the staff of Orange County, okay? Number two, that the dais is not for political debates. It's to have being strategic, focused, and having the conversations needed to address the needs that we're facing with business owners, with working families, because the problem is that it becomes a political situation of debate. This is not Tallahassee. This is a board that is a non-partisan racist. And for me, it's concerning that, even Tallahassee, I could work across the aisle. I think that here we need to be more respectful to each other and to our staff. So I think that help improving bureaucracy. Number two, expediting permits. And number three, I think that we have to bring everybody to the table. I heard a lot with growth and smart growth. Everybody's saying the same thing when it comes to politics, Every paper saying the same thing if you're running for commissioner, affordable housing, smart growth. I'm not going to say the same thing. What I'm going to say is that I already have a proven record that when I work together and put everybody at the table, I have proven results. And you just have to look into my history as a school board and also as a state rep.
Awesome. That was a great answer. Also, what specific changes would you support to make Orange County contracting, the procurement, permitting, like you just mentioned, but also the economic development programs more accessible to small, minority-owned and locally based businesses? Because we found out that sometimes when they ask for our help, in our case, in our chamber, they tend to have a little of a hard situation to get there, to how to get to the information that they need to in order to get those permits.
You know, number one, I think that educational piece is very broken in Orange County. I'm so sorry. As a teacher, I think that every single time we provide spaces to educate, the community get more engaged and follow up, and we can help them. You know, I want to say shoulder to shoulder. Something that I experienced when I was a legislator is that nobody knows about appropriation. How do we get appropriation? You know what? Let's do trainings, okay? Let's do training in Spanish, bilingual training, all English training. So I try most of the time to provide educational pieces so our nonprofit and C4 know how to follow up in order to get money, you know? But from what I see, the educational portion is just in the system, it's just in the government, in the staff, you know, all the responsibility go into the staff. But me as a commissioner, I'm gonna bring the staff to my district to follow up with my business owners so they can follow up what do you need, you know, the listening to, you know, I'm doing this listening tour since last year. If you see my social media, listening tour is working so well for us because the community continue to stay engaged with our office and we're able to follow up with every need. Sometimes elected officials got offended because I follow up, because I continue, 48 hours, continue, no, let's call, you know, I need that meeting. So I think that the engagement is more than giving away food, okay? I think that we need more than that. We need educational spaces to our business owners, and they need us to be the voice of them in the county. As a school board member, okay, I did not recall one day putting in the spot the staff. You know what I did? When I have a business owner, because we also have a procurement department at a school board, we have a budget of $4.5 billion. We're 4th largest in the state, 8th largest in the nation. I remember that I sit down with the procurement chief. I said, I need a meeting with you. I have all of these concerns from businesses. What are we gonna do? Because I don't want to be in the microphone in front of everybody for what? For political reason, because I'm running for something, or I wanna run in the future for something. We have to build better relationship with the staff in order to be more successful with our business owners locally. Because, you know, we just go and come and go, you know, 4 years, 8 years, then they stay there for 30 years, okay, and retire at 60. Johanna is not that nice, I'm not gonna help Johanna. You know, so, and that's the way I see it. I had the experience as a school board member. I have great experiences in Tallahassee just by respecting the staff and creating great relationships with people. We don't have to agree on everything, but people deserve respect.
Awesome.
Yes, I agree.
I think one more question, one last one. It'll be many entrepreneurs and employees are struggling with housing costs. What role should Orange County play in expanding affordable and workforce housing, which is very different, right, from each other, without placing an unreasonable burden on taxpayers or local businesses?
You know, in Tallahassee, I even co-sponsor bills for attainable housing. When the bill became a law and come to the Orange County, the legal create this interpretation that most of the time the policy is not addressing what the bill is saying at the state level. For me, that's concerning, okay? We passed a bill for attainable housing. It was for faith organizations, and when the bill passed, that I think it was a great opportunity to create affordable housing in churches that have more than 3 acres, okay? When the bill passed over here, they're supposed to allow the churches to have at least 10% of revenue at the local level. But no, when it came here, they put no, it's 100% affordable housing. But why? We created the law to alleviate the faith community and to help the contractor. So if we create something in Tallahassee, and that's why it's so important that we have the experience in the legislature when we run for commissioner, because that experience helps us to follow up with the bills that are gonna help our constituents to get the affordable housing. So we make sure that whatever the legal department is saying, say, wait, I was there. That's not what the bill intended to do. That's what the law intended to do. You know, why we have to take away this option for the contractors, or this revenue for the, you know, that tax exempt for contractor, or this revenue for the churches. But we need to know. We need to follow up there, you know? We cannot being just following up with whatever the legal department is saying. The commissioners tell the staff what to do. It's not the staff saying to the commissioner what they have to do. And I see that sometimes. That's the problem that we're facing. No, I cannot do that because the staff told me, I'm not here to hear what the staff told you. I'm here to have this conversation, and you go and talk to the staff, or bring the issue in the dais if you don't find any type of solution behind the scene, because this is what politics is. Sometimes I see people, you have to do it. No. You know, you have to go, you know, through this process of having conversations behind the scenes to make things happen and everybody feel respected. It's not that people say, Johanna did it. I don't care who did it. I care that happened. If it was me behind the scenes, I'm okay, but it's happening, you know? But I think that most of the time, we don't have those type of conversation and interpretation of the laws that are providing the solution for our contractor, for our business owner, in this case, for the faith community, just as an example. But I will be more than glad in having more conversations about this in details. I'm sorry, because I don't want to take anybody's time.
No worries. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
I have a question. She's a future right commissioner from Chicago.
Yeah.
You mentioned about business owners, you business owners and small businesses are literally lo que lleva, ¿verdad? El motor, and one thing that I have faced with these locations is every time you reach out to any politics, mayor or a commissioner or anybody in regards to, for example, we have an issue here that we cannot put signs outside because the law said that you cannot do it because traffic, whatever. But they don't even want to sit down with you and guide you or help you. Okay, let's do something. They let you drown. They don't help you. They don't give you the help. But when the 4 years come, like this time, they're knocking on your doors. Oh, I need you. I want you to be part of it. Yeah, but I'm reaching out to you for 2 years to see how I can promote who we are, because I'm not the only one. There's many businesses that I know. You cannot put a sign outside, and the city or the county, whoever, they don't even, you know what, this is the rule, I don't care. If you cannot make it happen, just close the door and go somewhere else. Basically, that's their response. And you as a commissioner, what would be your plan for small businesses that are struggling, especially on the Golden Road on this side? Because on that side, they can do whatever they want because it belongs to another area. But then on this road, Car Watch and all this, because I have met with all these corporations, they literally struggle to put their name out, to announce, but because the city doesn't allow it, or because the district, well, I don't know, because I don't get involved, but they don't allow it, and you get tired. You reach out to them, even the windows, you cannot put signs, because this sign on the road, you're not allowed to do that.
Well, I can continue to be who I am in terms of being, having open doors. I am extremely committed in follow-up with our business owners, with the entire community, and I always said, I'm a pro-choice, but I always open the door for pro-life. And we can talk, and we can agree to disagree, but we can find the solution at the end. Something that I experienced here in my district, I met this owner that have more than 127 pawn shops across the state, in other states, and in Puerto Rico. And this person, he told me, no, we have a problem, but nobody listened to me. And I say, okay, what is the problem? Okay, come, I want to give you a tour. He showed me his storage, okay? He has a lot of papers, a lot of it. So, okay, so what is the problem? Well, they do not allow us to do electronic transactions, buy or sell. We have to do it in paper. And we have to save the paperwork for 5 years, okay? And he has 127. Nobody's listened to this guy. 127, okay? The guy, And I said, you know what? I think that that's an easy fix because that's something, that's something at a state level. And I remember that I told him, okay, you have to go here, go there, I talked to so-and-so, and we achieved the deal, and something that I always, I'm going to remember about this, I called Placencia, Representative Placencia, a Republican, and I said, listen, Placencia, I'm a Democrat, this is an easy deal. But in order for this bill to pass, I need a Republican by my side because I don't think that the speaker is going to allow me to pass this bill at this moment because I'm passing other bills. And she said, Johanna, you don't need me, you're going to pass it, it's an easy fix. I said, well, I don't know, we never know. And she said, okay, put me in the bill. And I'm not going to speak, I'm not going to say, but she supported me and she was there and we passed the bill, and it is extremely, thankful, now we are fixing more problems, it's safety. Because if somebody steals something from you, now it's electronically, now it's also a person can be liable for that because now we can find out if somebody steals that product and is selling something before we couldn't do it. So we fix so many things at the same time only by helping one homeowner, one business owner. So for me, my promise is open doors all the time. Okay, and have a great stop.
All right, thank
Okay,
you so much, Johanna.
thank
Thank you so
you.
much. We have two candidates that are running for the position of Orange County Clerk of Courts. So I would like to call here Ms. Roberta Walton and Rick Singh. Applause. Thank you. So what I just I'll let you introduce yourself first, and then I'll make the same question for you guys.
Absolutely. So first of all, thank you so much for the invitation. I really appreciate it. My name is Roberta Walton Johnson, and I am your candidate for Orange County Clerk of Court. A little bit about me. I've actually worked at the clerk's office for more than a decade in leadership. Prior to that, I was with Orange County government for 8 years, and I kicked off my legal career more than 20 years ago at Community Legal Services of Mid-Florida, where I helped our most vulnerable residents receive benefits that they were otherwise entitled to. I came to the Clerk of Court in 2015 to open up the Self-Help Center. It's an opportunity for individuals who cannot afford an attorney to have access to resources to represent themselves in court. I'm pretty proud of that project because it is a premier self-help center that many in the state have mirrored since 2015. Today, I stand here as a member of the senior executive team and the general counsel to the Orange County Clerk of Court, and I am prepared to lead this county on day one as your next Orange County Clerk of Court.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Rick Singh, and I am also a candidate for the Orange County Clerk of Court. I come from a place of humble beginnings. I was born in a place with no running water, no electricity. Lost my father when I was 10 years old. My mother moved to New York City and worked 3 jobs as a maid. I tell you that to tell you that I had a front seat, a master class in survival, watching this lady survive. And she did it like a conductor conducting an orchestra, didn't miss a beat. And but in addition to having this very trying schedule and responsibility, she always had the time to give back to society. And she always taught us as children, you must never enter a room without leaving it better than when you found it. And that led me to the U.S. Army, where I had the opportunity to volunteer as a soldier. I worked in the weapons system for the Apache helicopter and the Cobra helicopter. And this was precision environment, precision training. And there was no room for errors. And that also reinforced what my mother taught me, to do it right the first time and get it right. And there's no room for errors. It also taught me discipline. It taught me teamwork. It taught me leadership. Leaving the military, I became a business owner right here in Orange County. I had 2 babies and a wife, and moved to Orange County as a young man. My brother moved from New York. And again, when I came, let me just go back a step. When I came from Guyana at 10 years old, I lived with my brother because the apartments in the Bronx, New York were very small. and my mother stayed with my sister, who had a one-bedroom apartment, and myself and my other siblings stayed with my sister-in-law. She was from Arecibo, Puerto Rico. So I grew up a little Puerto Rican, if you will, watching Lucha Libre. I used to peek at Nini's Chaco at a little age. So I tell you that to tell you that I am quasi-Boricua. You know, I visited Puerto Rico many, many times in all parts of the Caribbean. So I go back to telling you that as a business owner, it is very, very important training to be an elected official, because it teaches you something that is unique. It teaches you the difference between signing the front of a check and the back of a check. Signing the front of a check requires budgeting, requires training, requires leadership, requires bringing people together, requires recruiting. It requires leadership, and it requires executive leadership. In 2010, after leading a successful business in real estate, in the appraisal business, in the mortgage business, I heard a guy by many of you may or may not have heard his name. His name was Barack Obama. And he gave a wonderful speech that inspired me to run for office. And I ran for office in 2010, started my campaign, and ran against a 30-year incumbent by the name of Bill Donegan, one of the most powerful individuals in the state. His wife was the vice president of UCF. He was a 30-year incumbent, and nobody thought he could be beat. But with hard work, with perseverance, grassroots campaign, I defeated Bill Donegan and became the first minority to be property appraiser in the state of Florida. I became many firsts in that environment. So many candidates will tell you what they've done, and you will hear that a lot tonight, what they plan to do, I should say, and you will hear a lot of that tonight. I want to tell you what I've done as a CEO. As a CEO, I've led the Property Appraiser's Office to a world-class organization.
Thank you, Rick. So, Rick, if you want, I'm just going to answer your question, then I'll go back to the word. Basically, the code of courts manages records and services that affect businesses involved in civil litigation, collections, contracts, evictions, traffic matters, and other legal proceedings. What specific modernization would you implement to make these services faster, more accessible, and less costly for residents and small businesses?
So one of the things I did at the Property Appraiser's Office was essentially tackling the same problem. It was an office of mundane existence. It was stuck in the dark ages. I see very similar activity at the clerk of court office, where basic customer service, is lacking. Basic human connection is lacking. If you're a business owner, you don't want to waste time, and you want to get it done right the first time without mistakes, and you want to get it done because you don't have time to waste. And I think every entrepreneur in this room can essentially identify with that. Technology is so important. I tell you that to tell you that I am one of the first elected officials in probably the country that has gone to MIT and took a class on artificial intelligence. Back when artificial intelligence was just a buzzword, I did that because I knew it was the cutting edge technology that was coming. It was the future. GIS technology is something that I would definitely implement. This is something that can gather information, package this information. Understand this, the clerk of court is one of the largest collector of public data in the county. And it is important what we do with that data. It is important for us to package that data properly, have that data very accessible, have it on a website that's extremely accessible. My website of the Property Appraiser's Office is today still one of the best appraisal website in the world. Not because it's a property appraisal website, but because it serves so many different business organizations. It served the city of Orlando, Orange County. I was actually one of the ones that procured GIS technology and essentially packaged it for other counties and other municipalities and other cities. So I tell you that to tell you that packaging information properly, expediting service, and having it streamlined. Being a business owner, coming from a business background, coming from as a small business owner, I understand the culture, I understand the needs, and of course that is something that I will fix on day one.
Thank you.
The Code of Courts manages records and services that affect businesses involved in civil litigation, collections, contracts, evictions, traffic matters, and other legal proceedings. What specific modernization would you implement to make sure that these services are faster, more accessible, and less costly for residents and small businesses?
So when you say less costly, I'm going to start there. Because one of the things that I'd like to share about the clerk of court, we are a constitutional office, but we're also a member of the judicial branch. And our role really is ministerial. Everything we do is outlined in a statute, a rule, or a court order. And so fines and fees are not decided by the clerk's office. They are decided by statute. And so how we implement the service, however, in our internal procedures certainly is something that I plan to wrap my hand around as your next Orange County Clerk of Court. One of the things I plan to implement is a multilingual navigator. And I think that as I'm talking to the Puerto Rican Chamber of Commerce, this is something that I said to Johanna a few days ago. This is a project that right now, with me opening the self-help center, I recognize there are still people who need to touch other resources. And there are people who need an opportunity to access the courts who might not understand what's happening procedurally. And so my plan is to put a navigator into and establish a navigator program right at the self-help center. I've already worked with our court operations team, which is the judiciary, to do that for domestic violence. I currently sit on the statewide domestic violence task force. And so I work here locally, the 9th Judicial Circuit, because we saw a lot of people coming to the clerk's office in crisis. And typically that's how they show up, right, with the problem, in crisis. But they were expected to complete the petitions and the forms. Those forms are approved by the Florida Supreme Court. Those are the only forms that we can use. And so, but with those questions, we put into place a person, an individual, a navigator to help them navigate that process to ensure that they were answering the right questions without giving them advice so that they can have their proper day in court. And I think that's important as well for all proceedings. I tell you, when you get to court, certain proceedings to court, it is their responsibility to provide interpreters. That does not happen today at the clerk's office. And so that is a program that I would implement to help things run faster and to streamline services. And it's something I saw firsthand and already worked on, and would just extend that program. Another thing from a technology perspective is there are a lot of people who really don't have the time to come and sit in our lobbies, quite frankly. They don't have time to pull a number and wait their turn to ask a question. So I would implement more self-help services that can be conducted online. If you need to submit just a filing, you don't have to necessarily come to our office to do it. And if you come to our office, I will have a self-help center kiosk there. And that within that kiosk, you will be able to submit certain filings without having to touch a person. So there are many opportunities for my attorneys in the room. I know we have our judicial candidates. They might be happy to learn that I also plan to place the attorney-only customer service line back in place. Right now, they're not like right. Right now, you have individuals who are representing themselves and attorneys, of which the business owners that you talk about, they are represented by attorneys. They're all calling the same lines right now. And it's not bifurcated. And that's something I plan to do, is to kind of increase how you serve based on the audience. Because how you serve is different based on the audience. And so those are some programs and some services that I plan to implement as your next clerk of court.
She's asking my second question, also for Rick, and it was basically how would you modernize electronic filing, online payments, and court records access? And basically, you mentioned, but I'll ask you, Rick, how would you modernize electronic filing, online payments, court record access, and customer service while protecting confidential information against fraud, cyber attacks, etc.?
the same way you order a pizza. It's simple. Online services are to be accessible. There are apps that can be built. Again, I'm going to tell you what I've done. At the property appraiser's office, we had an extremely well organized public service outreach from a technology standpoint. We eased process payments. We essentially handled that in a way where information didn't take 4 hours. And the way to do that is to organize your customer. Okay? Many people will look at an office and say we have one customer. At an office like the clerk of the court, you have multiple customers that we have multiple requirements. You have local government that is a customer. You have the public that is a customer that are segmented. You have a business customer, you have a frequent user, a frequent flyer, and of course the general public. You also have your staff that are customers because they go to different departments. And of course you have other agencies. So again, I would develop interlocal agreements with different agencies. I would definitely open effective satellite offices. And of course, training your staff is so important. You know, right now today, if you go to Google review, this office is ranked 2.5 stars. Think about this for a moment. Would you take your loved one to a doctor that had a 2.5 star on Google at the property appraiser's office? I took that level up to 5 stars. That was a 5-star operation. It wasn't an accident. It was purposeful. Training my staff. So going back to your question about technology, I embrace technology. I will implement the finest technology in the nation. I will, of course, go out and see what the best there is in the market. I would seek counsel. I would ask business owners what they're looking for. And again, I would take surveys and I would partner with the business community to find out exactly what the needs are. And of course, implement it and execute it.
And one more last question. So that this one just came up from a lot of owners, business owners that were asking. And it says, what safeguards would you establish to ensure fiscal accountability, ethical leadership, transparency, and public confidence in the clerk's office?
So one of the things is finance. You know, I'm proud to say that I've gone through 8 audits in the property appraiser's office by different comptrollers and had 0 findings. I tell you that to tell you that I was one of the only elected officials that gave back $1 million from their budget every single year in 8 years. I was one of the first to put back, to essentially find $1 billion worth of assets from implementing homestead exemption fraud. I took the tax roll from $110 billion to $220 billion in just 8 years. I tell you that to tell you that you've got to seek out ways, you've got to find ways, and of course, coming from a business background, coming from a military background, and of course, executive leadership. This is an executive position. It is not a position for a department head. It is not a position, you know, leading a constitutional office is like holding a lion by the tail. When he's moving forward, it's okay. But when he turns around, you need to know what to do. Something like COVID comes along. I was the first office in this state to go mobile in 1.5 days. When the rest of the county and other constitutional offices were fumbling for 2 weeks, my staff was at home working in 1.5 days. I did that because of practice. I did that because of training, and of course, hiring the right staff. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Roberta. I will repeat the question again. What safeguards would you establish to ensure fiscal accountability, ethical leadership, transparency, and public confidence in the clerk's office?
So fiscal accountability, let's start there. And you said fiscal accountability, transparency.
Correct. Ethical leadership.
And ethical leadership. Okay, so fiscal transparency, fiscal accountability, I think right now the clerk's office does a wonderful job at that. Why? Is because the way we're funded is unlike any other constitutional office. We are actually self-funded by fines and fees. And so we are the cashier for the clerk's office, for the courts. We collect all fines and fees and we distribute them out, not according to how we want to distribute them, but again, according to how the law says that we should distribute them. And so those funds are redistributed back up to Tallahassee and to more than 50 different trust funds throughout the state of Florida. So with that, right now, we are the #1 donor county in the state. And when I say that, that means we collect the most revenue and send it back up to Tallahassee for redistribution. Okay? And we pride ourselves on that, and that comes from that fiscal accountability effort that you talk about. Quite frankly, our budget predominantly is people, right? We have people to serve you all, and that is the bulk of our budget. We have, a very small IT team, which that is something I plan to focus on because I think we need additional talent in that area. But unfortunately, technology can't be funded in the same way operations can at the clerk's office. That's just how stringent our budget is. And so I would say fiscal accountability would be making sure that we adhere to what the statute and the rules say, and how it says that we can actually spend those funds. When it comes to transparency, I believe that's the essence of being a public agency. It's transparency. Right now, as the general counsel, I'm actually tasked with being in charge of all public records requests. But not only public records requests, we also have another department that deals with court records requests. These documents are all open and accessible for the general public because transparency means that. I know Mr. Singh spoke about court data. He is right. We generate lots of court data. All of that data we share with a series of state agencies across the state because that data goes back out and it actually helps the legislature make a decision or determination of how we and other areas, i.e. those trust funds, should be funded. And so I believe transparency is paramount to being a public agency, and it's something that I certainly would hold with high regard, as I do today, and as the office does today. Another opportunity you said was?
And we are here, and public confidence in the clerk's office.
Public confidence in the clerk's office. Now, I do believe that is that's leading by example when it comes to being customer centric. One of the reasons I was tapped on the shoulder by a member of the then elected clerk's transition team took me out to lunch and wanted to have a conversation with me about the program that they were discussing, the self-help program. I was tapped on the shoulder because of my ability to connect with the community and because of my background at Community Legal Services and Orange County government. And so I took that same temperament with me to the clerk's office when we started the Self-Help Center. I think, again, one of the synergies you heard me talk about already in terms of making sure that whatever audience that we're serving, we are speaking their language. That's the rationale behind reinserting the customer service line for attorneys. I listened to what people have said along this journey, and I agree with them. That is something that should be reinserted back into our operational processes and procedures. And so being more customer centric, I think also starts with your people. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to pay our people a lot because of the way we are funded, quite frankly. When I initially started at the clerk's office, deputy clerks were making a little over $12 an hour. Right. Today, they make a little over $17 an hour. And I will tell you, we are pursuing, as a senior executive team, we just approved for an additional increase, a nice one, for an entry-level hourly pay increase for deputy clerks. When you do that, you enhance the quality of life of the people who are providing you with the service. And I think coming through the people and making sure we take care of those people is how best I plan to be effective in that area and accountable to the residents who elect me as their next clerk of court.
Rick. Thank you, Roberta. Applause. Thank you so much. Alrighty, let's move forward. Now we have the candidate for Orange County School Board District 1, Mr. David Shepherd. David, I'm going to move and Melissa, right? Yes. There you go. And also Melissa Lopez. Welcome. Pleasure. So let me, like I said, introduce yourself.
So I'm David Shepherd. I'm running for Orange County School Board District 1. I've got 2 young kids that are going into the Orange County public school system. As my son got into the school system, I realized programs I needed to succeed weren't there for my kids when it came to skills-based training in your trades and vocation. Along with researching that and also being a skilled laborer as one of your local firefighters, we also noticed that we don't have an EMT program, we don't have a fire program, so we've lost a lot of programs that are workforce readiness programs where our kids can go straight into careers. I'm here to be an advocate for those programs and make sure that we expand workforce readiness to make sure that our kids can go straight into the workforce and not have to explore things and then spend more time and money to then get certificates when we can get them certificates out of high school. So I'm David Shepherd, running for Orange County School Board District 1.
Awesome. Melissa, go ahead. Introduce yourself.
Buenas tardes, good afternoon, Melissa Lopez Marantes. I'm also running for School Board District 1. A little bit about me. So as a kid, I saw my mom really struggle with not having representation at court. Even though it was in quiet, I saw her battle with, in quiet saying, they're not listening to me, I don't have a voice, they don't hear me. And so as the years went on, I realized that there was a real need that children would have a voice and have representation. So over the course of my career, I've been a guardian ad litem, I've worked with children in Miami as a volunteer. When I moved to Orlando, I also went to law school, became an attorney, and since then, I run a nonprofit for the past 10 years, where I've been working to represent children and represent their rights along with families. As far as school board is concerned, it was one of those things that when I looked at what was going on in our schools, we've seen a lot of things with school closures, a lot of struggles with legislation that's coming down that's affecting and changing kind of how the school boards are able to run with their budgets and everything. I thought it was an opportunity to continue to support our children and support our teachers in the community. And so that's how I ended up here.
Awesome. Look, I'll just go ahead and next to the first question, and then I'll go with David. Melissa, we heard that employers frequently report that graduates need stronger technical, financial, and communication and workplace skills. What specific policies would you support to better connect Orange County public schools with local employers, trade organizations, colleges, and entrepreneurs?
Absolutely. So as an attorney running at a nonprofit, one of the things that we've built is a really great internship program. And it makes me recognize that when you look at businesses in our area, a lot of businesses are looking for skilled workers that are already, trained on the ground. I think it's an area we probably agree on as far as what could help with our public schools. But one of the things that may also help with budgets, in looking with our local partnerships, how can we partner both with small business and organizations in the community and create ways to create experience for students, but that also is going to prepare them for getting into the workforce. So I think it's a dual effort, but between working with the partnerships in the community and with the students and the school board to be able to create those opportunities so we have those in schools. One of the concerns is the declining numbers of students. So is this something that we can use also to bring kids back, maybe to bring students back and to have those experiences because they attract them to then want to come back to public schools.
David, I will repeat the question again. Employers frequently report that graduates need stronger technical, financial, communication, and workplace skills. What specific policies would you support to better connect Orange County public schools with local employers, trade organizations, colleges, and entrepreneurs?
So I've taken the opportunity to go sit down with the iron workers, the electrical workers, and a lot of the union workforces in the area. Currently, our trade programs are essentially run by the American Builders Association, and that we don't have a good working relationship with the local unions. In fact, the closest iron worker or pipe fitting training program is Hillsborough County is the closest one for Central Florida. So I'd like to work with the unions to make sure that they can come back into the schools and have better access to create programs to encourage younger kids even down in the middle school level. That way there's at least the experience or interest in the trades as they get through and learn these skills in middle school, to then have the opportunity to get technical, detailed training in specific skills in the high school area. A lot of these trade unions are willing to partner with the schools, which can lead to some of the funding issues. And a lot of these skilled trade programs can also bring in resources to the school with the funding cuts from Tallahassee that allow these programs to expand and exist within Orange County Public Schools.
I'll take the chance to ask you right away. Would you support expanding career and technical education, internships, construction trades, like you mentioned, technology programs, financial literacy, and entrepreneurship education? If so, how would you measure whether those programs are position-related employment?
Thank you.
So obviously having the relationship with the American Builders Association and our trade unions, figuring out what they're asking for and making sure that we're able to put the entry-level skilled employees out into the workforce. That helps even the small businesses. You hear a lot of times with your HVAC and AC that they just don't have the kids with the skill and aptitude to be functional, so it's taking them a lot more time to train apprentices and stuff like that, where we have the opportunity to train them in the school program, or a kid who's not necessarily super great in academics like myself, that it expands my want and ability to actually be better in academics, because I realize I need it for the skills to be successful in my future. So programs like that.
Awesome. It's awesome. Ask the same question. Would you support expanding career and technical education, internships, construction trades, technology programs, financial literacy, and entrepreneurship education? And if so, how would you measure whether those programs are soliciting employment and business opportunities?
So absolutely. I mean, when we look at things like artificial intelligence and AI, right? In the business world, and for those of you that are, whether you're business owners, lawyers, right, we're using them in the office, or in any of their fields, I'm sure it's going to come up in fire and police as well. There's just a lot of areas where these things start to become involved. And so I think this is definitely the time with our high school level to be able to teach our students how to use them effectively, so that it's not a crutch that they're on, or they're using to not use their own free thought, they're not using to be creative thinkers, but how to use them as a tool, whether it's to create presentations, whether it's to be able to help them organize their ideas and present something forward. And so, if it's technology, if it's a trade, I think the more that we can give them experience while they're in school, they're going to be ready out of school. You asked how to measure it. So one of the key ways that we measure is by follow-up and by surveying and whatnot. And so when students graduate, I think that we don't need to stop there. I think we need to be able to continue, whether it's a program that brings them back to find out, or that interviews them and follows up with them a year later to see how they're doing and if they are indeed in those fields.
Super. All right, thank you. Now we just do one more last question for you guys. We'll go. If you want to answer the question first, it'll be OCPA is one of the region's largest public institutions. How would you make it contracting and procurement opportunities more accessible to qualified small, minority-owned, and locally based companies while maintaining a strong standards and transparent competition?
So I think transparency is really important. Making sure that there's opportunities when they know that new bids are up, or when there's a new project, and making sure that it's open to a group of different businesses. What I understand that's really important as far as the procurement process, that we can be fair and we can be equitable, right? So making sure that there's opportunities for different businesses. That's the way that we're also going to keep numbers down, right? Like the way that your commerce works is that we want to have a plethora of different bids and different opportunities and different perspectives, so that we can try to make it affordable. And so all across the way, I think that that's our best bet. I understand that sometimes they can get limited, or, you know, in the rush of things, people can use the same vendors. But one of the things that's going to be important is to make sure that there is that transparency, that there is that openness, that open call, and that there's an opportunity so the procurement process can have as much transparency as possible.
Awesome. think the same question, repeated OCPS is one of those region-started public institutions. How would you make it contracting and procurement opportunities more accessible to qualify small, minority-owned and locally based companies while maintaining a strong standards and transparent competition?
So transparency is probably one of the biggest issues in making sure that the local, I would say, Chamber of Commerces are notified of the different bids and jobs that are out there. As she said and mentioned, that competition is what drives prices down for the school district. And so making sure that people are aware of the different procurement needs that they're able to bid on through whether we use technology to make the access to when procurement and other things are available. It's really hard to get information out of Orange County Public School if you've ever tried. Even something as simple as a water bill for an elementary school was a 3-month conversation to get. So if I'm, as a citizen, taking 3 months to try and find one water bill from a school, I can only imagine people bidding on product, services, and stuff like that. The information they're trying to get so they can make successful bids isn't available, so trying to make that as transparent as possible.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much. So we appreciate all for you guys for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Awesome. Anyone can use that. Let's do it right here. And we have right now Christina Argoyes.
She left. She's pregnant.
Oh,
getting
okay.
too long for her.
Christina Party, right?
Yeah, Camilla.
Okay, common name. Come on, look one. Christina, yes, tell us about yourself.
Okay, my name is Camilla Perry. I've been an attorney for 24 years. I practice in every area of the law, commercial litigation, civil torts, family, domestic, everything really except bankruptcy. I've had a really fortunate career that has really spanned all areas of law.
Super, super. And Christina, I got here some other questions here. I know that it says here that my first question, it would be, our business community depends on a fair, predictable, and efficient court system. What steps would you support to help ensure that civil and commercial cases are handled promptly while maintaining fairness to everyone?
I was a civil lawyer for most of my career, so I know what it's like to be on that side. And I would make sure that my courtroom is run efficiently because I know that, in my case, time is money. And my clients didn't have time to sit around and be dragged through the process for months and months and years. So I would endeavor to get my cases heard quickly, get my orders out quickly, make sure court is on time. I would encourage the parties to settle, to resolve matters quickly, and just keep the cases moving.
Awesome. And also, many entrepreneurs and small businesses cannot afford years of litigation. What role do you believe a circuit judge plays in encouraging efficient case management and alternative dispute resolution when appropriate?
Right. I think that's probably what I meant in my last answer, that'd be my goal, is to make sure that the parties know that they are going to be in litigation for years and years and years if they opt to try to go to trial. They're going to spend a lot of money. So if they can resolve the matter, they should. In most businesses, they want to, they act based on, what business, what's it called? I can't remember. It's a phrase I'm trying to use. I can't remember it. But it just makes more sense to solve it as opposed to fight the merits, because you may or may not win. So my goal would be to make sure that the parties talk to each other and try to settle their dispute as quickly as possible.
We have one question from one of our members that when I asked, and it says one of the biggest concerns in many court systems is case backlog. And what experience do you have managing large caseloads, and how would you help improve efficiency, in your courtroom?
I think that's the same answer. I've been in private practice most of my career, and I've had to handle 30 to 40 cases at one time, and you have to be diligent and thorough. Right now, I'm the general counsel for the state attorney's office, and I've handled 9 or 10 different departments, 385 employees, and a $37 million budget. So I have to dot all of my I's and cross all of my T's every day, and I do not let any balls drop. So that is how I would manage my courtroom in the same way.
Awesome. And we got one for question.
No, I think
go ahead.
great.
Oh, okay. Okay. And I got this one. It's a very nice question that I got from another person. And he goes he asks, what qualities I should say, do you believe every circuit judge should possess?
It shouldn't have an ego. I think a circuit judge that doesn't have an ego, that doesn't get wrapped up in theatrics, that doesn't take things personal, that is not personally offended by anything, because ironically, judges are not supposed to be judgmental. We're supposed to be straightforward and only think about what's in front of us, the facts and the law, and how they apply to each other. So I think the best quality a judge can have is someone that is even, keeled, calm, and does not let does not let anything get the best of them. They remain professional at all times.
Gotcha. And one more question, and this one it says, how has your career equipped you to handle the wide variety of cases that come before in the circuit court?
Absolutely. There's not an area of the law that I haven't practiced in for the most part. Probably the least amount of practice I have done is in criminal law. As the general counsel for the state attorney's office, my job is not to prosecute cases. At times I've had to take on a few cases just to help with caseloads, but not anything extensive. So I think that the fact that I am familiar with pretty much every area of the law will really, really help me with wherever I'm assigned.
Awesome. And one last question. If elected, I just love this, I just like it. No, if elected, what do you hope your legacy will be after serving as a circuit judge for Orange County?
Oh, that everybody came in my courtroom and they said, wow, she was a good judge. That's it.
We're here.
Yep.
Right. Awesome. Any other questions from you guys or clear? No?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh. Come on in.
Excuse me. And we're going to circuit judges. I mean, we're just going to stick with the plan. She just did circuit.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Mika, introduce yourself.
My name is Tamika Hampton Johnson. I'm running for Circuit Court Judge Group 1. To be clear, I'm not running against Camilla. She's in Group 31. I'm not running against Christina, who was here earlier. She's in Group 2. I'm in Group 1.
All right, sounds nice. Basically the same question, fine. That's
Okay.
there you go back. There you go. This came back. There you go. Our business community depends on a fair, predictable, and efficient court system. What steps do you support to help ensure that civil and commercial cases are handled properly while maintaining fairness for everyone?
I think that's easy for me. It kind of goes back to my military training. We have order and process. If we do things decent and in order, I think that helps because we have clear procedures so people know what to expect when they come in. They understand the process. It helps to speed things up a little bit. So while you don't know what the judge's ruling is going to be, you want to know that their procedure and their thought process is very consistent. So you kind of know which areas to touch on when you come into court. We as lawyers, we know what sort of things judges like to hear when they're making decisions. And so that's part of just being consistent in making those decisions. Me being prepared. When I come into court, I've done my research, whatever I'm allowed to do up until that point to know about the case and understand what's happening, so that when I get there, I'm not trying to figure things out. I'm listening to what they're saying and then using those facts to make a decision.
Also, many entrepreneurs and small businesses they cannot afford years of litigation. What role do you believe a circuit judge plays in encouraging efficient case management and alternative dispute resolution when appropriate?
Yeah, I think that's always an option. We think about that I think about it as a lawyer. When I go into a case, I know it's probably going to be more timely if we can settle. If it's something that can be settled. And so as a judge, you encourage those conversations. You encourage the parties to remain respectful through the process. Don't let their egos get in the way of them doing what's best for their clients. And so I think that's part of the important thing that we must do to encourage settlements where we can. Not forcing it on people, but just helping them to understand the courts are backed up. The truth of the matter is we have more court cases than we have judges in the Ninth Circuit, and it's not decreasing, it's increasing. So the caseloads are getting larger and larger. And so where they can work things out, and then for me as a judge, trusting them as the professionals that they are. When they reach an agreement, it's not my job to question that agreement. It's not my job to question what they've done.
The assumption is they have done what their client wants, and I just need to sign off on it, so long as it's legal. You know, the agreement is legal signed. I don't have to go back and question or refuse to accept something that they put forth on behalf of their client.
And also the same question that I asked before too. It says one of the biggest concerns, I think you kind of mentioned a little bit, one of the biggest concerns in many court systems is case back. What experience do you have managing large caseloads, and how would you help improve efficiency in your court?
Yeah, I started as an assistant public defender, so as a brand new lawyer, you have a big caseload, and it's constantly changing. You know, you're in court 4 weeks out of 5, where you're constantly in trial and you're managing a large number of cases. So I started there, so that gave me great litigation rules to build from. Most of my legal experience is working in labor and employment for Orange County Public School employees, so where I managed unions of 7,000 to 15,000 members. You know how hard it is to keep all those people pleased. But also just negotiating contracts on their behalf, collective bargaining agreements, trying to find things that are acceptable to all parties involved. And so being able to manage that, I brought on additional attorneys to help, because it's hard to manage 8,000 people by yourself. Also negotiating with, as Johanna Lopez said earlier, the 4th largest school district in the state, and the 8th now. They were the 9th at the time, the 8th largest in the United States. But sitting across from them and negotiating working conditions, pay, all of those things. So I have a lot of experience in working with high caseloads.
Awesome. And what advice do you believe every circuit judge should possess? What qualities, I should say?
Yeah, I think the diverse background that I have, I think is a good quality, because when you become a judge, you don't pick which area you're going to sit on the bench in. The administrative judge assigns you. So if your entire background is family, and then they put you in criminal court, how do you handle that? So I think when you have a diverse background as an attorney, that is extremely helpful when you're coming to the bench. I also think you have to have the right mindset, the right temperament. You have to be willing to, as was said earlier, leave your ego at the door. It's not about being able to come to the court. It's the people's court. It belongs to them. And so how can I help facilitate things so that they feel that their day in court happened? They were heard, they understand, they're trusting the process. It may not go their way, but they still feel that they had their fair day in court. And so that's my role as a judge.
Super. And one last question, which is very important.
Okay.
It goes like to, what do you hope your legacy will be after serving as a circuit judge for Orange County?
I hope my legacy will be that somehow we restored some trust in the judicial system, 1. And 2, that people understand it doesn't matter where you start. I grew up in a small town of Stark, Florida, 15,000 population. You know, it's home of all the prisons. And growing up, they say you either go to prison or you work for the prison when you grow up in Stark. And so it doesn't matter where you start. It's where you end up. It's what hard work you put in and how you can just pursue your goals and dreams. And you too can be in this position, because that's what the way it's designed to be. You know, it's designed to be justice for all, not for some. And so your start doesn't matter. If you have money, don't have money, it doesn't matter. When you walk into court, you should be treated fairly and you should be respected.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right, thank you.
We're both here.
There you go.
Last
Because I want to make sure, I'm like kind of looking.
Oh, yeah.
No, and it's been so about that. So,
We're running for the same seats.
okay, awesome. So, we, go ahead and introduce our first.
Good evening. Thank you for sticking around if you're still here. My name is Asma Azam. I'm running for Orange County Judge Group 5. I've been practicing law for 23 years. I've represented many small businesses in Orlando. I represent a lot of real estate developers, a lot of realtors. I do a lot of land development. I am also a mom. I have 2 children. My daughter's 20 at the University of Florida. My son is 17. I have been married for 26 years. My husband is a doctor. He's not Dr. Bling. He actually puts people to sleep, so he's not quite as glamorous. But in addition to practicing law, I am a mediator. I was certified as a mediator in 2019. 2019, and I'm also a special magistrate for the Orange County Tax Collector. I have been saying on the campaign trail 2 important things to know about me. One, I am an attorney that has a lot of civil experience. A lot of my work has been breach of contract, foreclosure, landlord-tenant work, lots of issues that are important to small businesses. 2, I have an extensive background in quasi-judicial experience. Since 2020, I've served as a special magistrate for the Orange County Tax Collector. I've presided over hearings, I've taken evidence, I've taken testimony, I've evaluated that evidence, and I've been asked to issue written opinions that have millions of dollars of impact on Orange County residents. So I feel like I would be prepared on day 1.
Awesome.
Good evening, and thank you again for staying as well. I am Kathy Kennedy, a candidate for Orange County Judge Group 5. I've been an attorney here almost 18 years. I started off at the Public Defender's Office. Then I went to I owned my own law firm for a while, and then I went to the State Attorney's Office, and currently I teach at FAMU College of Law. I have a business background. I have my master's in finance. I had an opportunity to work for the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, dealing with large, complex banking organizations before going to law school, and now being an attorney for almost 18 years. I am married to a captain with the Sheriff's Office here, and we have a 4- and a 6-year-old and a dog named Oreo. You can guess who named that dog. It was probably that 6-year-old little girl that did. Have been in public service pretty much my entire career. I think service is very important to the community that you sit in. I'm a past president of the Orange County Bar Foundation, as well as the Policy Perkins Bar Association. So prior to even making sure I'm involved in my community and in organizations, a past speaker at a number of high schools, including Oak Ridge High School, West Orange High School, making sure I'm giving back to my community, even though I'm serving in it now.
Awesome. No, I'll stay with you. So I'm sure we just already. I love to make questions. Well, one thing. How would you describe your judicial philosophy, and how does it guide your decision making while remaining faithful to the law?
I think it's important to make sure that you are following the law. The judge is not there to create the law. I think it's very important, especially as attorneys and as the public, you want to make sure there's consistency in what is happening, and so that the judge, whether you're here in Orange County, you're in Miami, you're in Pensacola, wherever you are, that same law is applied the same way each time. However, understanding the circumstances and situations of each case. And so making sure that I am even-tempered, even-keeled, allow everyone to speak, to be heard. My clients that may have been sentenced to life previously, as long as they felt the judge was heard, was not dismissive of them, they were okay with the outcome of the case as long as they felt heard. My family law clients, as long as the judge was respectful, as long as the judge kept their time and making sure that they were there when they were supposed to be and listened to all parties, my clients felt that they were okay no matter the outcome of the case.
Awesome. And I'll ask the same question for you. How would you describe your judicial philosophy, and how does it guide your decision making while remaining faithful to the law?
Okay. The first thing I would say is I think being an attorney as an advocate for your client is very different than serving as an impartial when you're acting as a judge. In my work as a special magistrate, I would say, of course, I would apply the law as written. But unfortunately, as all attorneys will tell you, and most judges will say, the work is when the law is not clear. When the law is not clear, then you have to look to precedent. And when there's not precedent guiding you, you have to, balance the interests of the parties involved and make a decision that you feel like would be the most just decision based on the law in front of you and the spirit and intent of the law.
Awesome. I'll stay with you. One more question. Public confidence in the judiciary depends on the integrity and impartiality. How would you maintain public trust while handling difficult, highly publicized cases?
So I had 2 cases recently in the last 5 years when I was working as a special magistrate that were very political. One was with the Orlando International Airport involving a major airline requesting a tax exemption. Both parties were highly represented. The Orlando Sentinel was present in the room. I felt like there was a lot of pressure on me to make the right decision. Again, I put personal biases aside. I listened to both parties' arguments, and I apply the law as written to the facts in a manner that meets the spirit and intent of the law.
And now, as the same feelings,
thank you.
Public confidence in the judiciary depends on integrity and impartiality. how would you maintain public trust while handling difficult or highly publicized cases?
I had an experience where there was a case that I represented the defendant at the time, where there was allegation that someone was released from custody after forging a judge's signature. And so, of course, that case made the social media, the media news everywhere. However, it's not important how that case was on the news. What I had to do for my client was, it didn't matter. So whether there were camera crews following us in and out of the courtroom, whether we were doing a tour of Florida, doing depositions throughout the entire state as this case happened, it was very important that I kept in mind that my client was first, no matter what was going on. But I also think it's important, as far as public trust goes, to making sure you're in your community. You can't be in your community only when it's time to campaign. You can't be in your community when you're asking them for something. It is important that people understand that judges are still in their community, and they are part of their community. And so that they are going to neighborhood events. They're going to community service events. They're opening up their courtrooms to the public to say, hey, please come in, come shadow me, have internship opportunities. All of these things are important to make sure that they understand access to the court. And so I think that's what you do to make sure you kind of build confidence in the court, is making sure that it's open to everyone.
Awesome. And my last question, I promise.
Okay.
Why should Orange County voters trust you with this responsibility?
Again, I am Kafi Kennedy, and I believe that my years of experience is why the citizens of Orange County should trust me. I think I've enjoyed this campaign as far as getting to meet citizens from different parts of the county. You realize how big Orange County is. And being a woman of my word, if I say something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to follow through. I believe in fairness, treating everyone with respect, making sure that everybody understands that service, even though the judges sit up high on that bench, that they are there to serve the citizens first and foremost. And so based on that level of service, commitment to my community, a community that I have chosen to live in and now raise my family in, I think that's the reason why the members of this community should vote for Kafi Kennedy for Orange County Judge.
Awesome, thanks so much. And Ms. Afam, why should Orange County voters trust you with this responsibility?
I feel like electing judges is a very difficult job because, of course, judges can't talk about their personal values or their personal positions. You really elect judges just based on the face-to-face interaction or what you read about their experience. One thing that I'm proud of is the endorsements that I've gotten in this race. I've been endorsed by several organizations. Senator Carlos Guillermo-Smith has endorsed me, and Congressman Maxwell Frost has endorsed me. I've been endorsed by the West Orange Chamber. I've been endorsed by Central Florida Hotel and Lodging. I've been endorsed by AFL-CIO. So all of these organizations have signaled to the community that they are putting their trust in my candidacy and my experience, and I hope that you will as well. I'm running for Orange County Judge, Asma Azam. Please look me up on Instagram, Facebook, or my website. Thank you.
I didn't miss anyone else, right? This is going good? Well, at first I would like now to...
I want to say something really quick.
Go ahead.
Melanie,
our vice president.
I want to do one last question, if I might. Just one, promise. And I think it's more than a question, is maybe a petition. I'm an Orange County resident, and I'm also actually a vendor for the state of the court system. So for the court, I have many questions. We're not going into that route because we can be here forever. But I work for the state, for the court system as in the probate. So I have many questions. But my question as a mother, because I'm an Orange County resident, it's for the board. Just one question. And I moved from Puerto Rico here, specifically looking for opportunity for my kids. And my kids are in a private school, not in public school. And they don't have opportunities. They don't get access to many of the programs of the county because it's in a private